Hello and welcome to another edition of the Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman, and I'm joined by my usual cohorts, the Professor Russ Stevens and Uncle Joe McLaughlin. Well, we have another great show for you tonight. So, boys, let's get it started. We have to start with the Boston Celtics. You know, we're in this sports game, fellas, to enjoy ourselves, to have fun. It's been fun for the last 20 years, but we've had some problems recently. Last night, I think you both were very excited about the Celtics Sixers, a rematch from a week ago. Was a fun game to watch. I enjoyed it. We always start with the Professor. Russell, wasn't that fun to? I mean, obviously we won, but even had we lost, that was just a fun competitive game on a Wednesday night.
Totally agree. And what makes it nice is that there wasn't that much downside to losing because we didn't have two of our, four best players out there. Right. So you kind of go into that game thinking, if you win, it's gravy. If you lose, it's really no harm done. Those are the best games to watch, really.
Yeah. Joe, it was nice to see the bench get lots of minutes and actually the bench perform. Those are kind of good games to get some of the guys like Jaylen Brown and Porzingis to rest when they're not seriously hurt, and to see what kind of bench you have, because you got to get to that key number 8, at least 9 deep in the playoffs.
Well, I've been pleased with Mazzulla's use of the bench this season, much more than last season. He's not as tight ass as he was last year, where he strained to get a 7th guy in there. He's been putting out full second units a lot of times, not just feeding in 6th, 7th man. He's put out a whole second team.
Yeah, Joe, that's a great point. Russell, did Mazzulla have a come to Jesus moment, or is this Brad Stevens, or is it the addition of Cassell and Lee as assistant?
I bet it's a bunch of everything. It's a year under his belt, more confident, his own guys. Stevens probably got to him. He's probably talked a lot to the players. And, there's just good vibes all around. When it's working, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, just a natural evolution of his, coaching.
And having Holiday out there. Oh, look, again.
He is the adult in the room always out there.
Isn't he? We're not here to criticize Marcus Smart because we did that enough when he was with the Celtics. God bless him. He was what he was. But this Holiday is clearly a major upgrade.
A whole different attitude in the fourth quarter now, isn't there?
Wow. Oh, my God.
Much cooler. No panic, no firing balls off the backboard.
I'll tell you what I'm most impressed with, with Holiday, is what a good rebounder he is. He gets a lot of balls, a lot of rebounds from 8 feet out that seem to be key in the fourth quarter. I don't know if you've noticed that.
Yeah, I just think he positions himself well. He knows where to be on the court and everything. But, the other thing about him is there was always something about Marcus. And, I was a big Marcus fan. But, in the end of the day, Marcus needed to get his, right? He needed to get his, most of the time. And if he only had 4 shots in the fourth quarter, you knew Marcus was going to get 4 or 5 shots in the fourth quarter, right?
Yeah. And Joe, Marcus needed to have attention. He was an attention seeker on the court. By the end of the game, no matter what, he wanted you to mention Marcus on the way out.
Yeah, whether you were pulling your hair out of your head because he did something stupid again, or tipping your hat to him because he hit a 50-footer at the buzzer.
All right, we talk the minutia of the team. Okay, Pritchard has to be part of the playoff rotation, right? Al, of course, is part of the playoff rotation. This is the tryouts right now. We saw a lot from Cornette last night on the offensive end, Russ. Is he such a defensive liability that you can't keep important during the playoffs?
Yeah, I don't think that Cornette's a playoff player almost under any scenario. And I would imagine that, I would imagine that what they'd love to see more than anything else is Pritchard plays well enough to be, on the fringe of a playoff rotation, so you don't need to go get another guard. Hauser plays well enough to actually be in the rotation. I mean, Hauser's been playing like a rotation player recently.
Yeah.
And the only thing they need is to go get another big man who could play 5-10 minutes in a playoff game or more if Al got hurt or something.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. And Joe, you talk about just somebody to 6 fouls for Embiid, 6 fouls for Giannis. I mean, you do need that kind of heavy, big.
Yeah, we lucked out last night. It was the second night of a back-to-back for Embiid. In the playoffs, you don't have that luxury, and you're going to have to beat him up a little.
I just question whether Embiid, and again, he hasn't proven it, whether he can go through a season, because he's so damn big and he puts up so much energy. Can he go through a season and 4 playoff rounds? Is he humanly capable of doing that at that size and the way he plays?
It's a great question. There's 2 issues. One is he healthy? And then 2 is, is he in shape? And, last night, it was the second night of a back-to-back. By the way, the Celtics played 3 games in 4 nights over the weekend, right?
Yeah.
You didn't see these guys, with their hands on their knees, through the entire fourth quarter. So, there is an year-to-year issue about Embiid. Is he in good enough shape to be able to play the kind of heavy schedule in a playoff series? He's actually been reasonably healthy the last couple of years. It hasn't been injury as much as it's been, does he have enough in the fourth quarter of a third game in 4 nights or in the playoffs?
Oh, yeah, that's why you lean on him. That's why you lean on him and lean on him. It works against guys like big guys like Embiid and Giannis. Come the fourth quarter, they're tired and they don't got the legs for it.
Yeah, they're right, Joe. He's starting to take 3-pointers or jump shots, and that's exactly the kind of game you want out of him.
Yeah. Cool.
And don't forget, guys, the first year he came in the league, he was injured. He didn't play at all.
Yeah, didn't play that year.
So this guy has a history of some serious injuries. I would look. We know it's
he's so
happen.
big. He flops all the time. He hurts himself with the flop and drawing fouls. I know he shoots more fouls than any free throws than anyone else in the league.
We know it's going to happen.
That's at the expense of his body too when he throws himself on the floor like that.
Yeah, I mean, you've never seen a big guy Shaq. All these big guys, Kareem, they didn't play the game he plays.
Yeah, you don't fall on it. I mean, you're gonna get hurt. He's a big guy. What's he, about 300 pounds hitting the deck?
Oh, he's got to be 350. He's one of the biggest human beings I've ever seen in person.
Right.
I just want to make a prediction. I mean, this is a long-term prediction. He's not going to win any championships with the Sixers, and then at the end, he's going to be with the Knicks, and that's where.
Oh, that's a good one. Good one.
I could totally see that. I could totally see that he ended up with the Knicks.
And the Knicks giving up
a lot is right. He's probably riding on this year. Look, I think he loves playing with Maxey. Maxey's fantastic.
Oh my God.
He's fantastic. And they have some depth and they have a lot of salary cap space for next year, but they're going to have to, I mean, it's not even that they haven't made a finals or won one. They haven't even made an Eastern Conference finals with Embiid.
Yeah.
Understand that, right?
Yeah, right.
So,
because the Celtics.
Okay, how about this Derek White? I mean, is he just a hell of a basketball player or what?
Gets better all the time too.
I don't know how did San Antonio. Did he not play like this in San Antonio? I mean, did he put a Celtics uniform?
He wasn't on that's where Tatum and Brown met him on the all.
No, but I'm saying, but I mean, how do you trade? How are you so wrong as far as player evaluation with a guy that is on your team that you basically give him away for nothing?
Well, I think they
wanted to tank, didn't they?
They wanted to tank, and I think I think they knew he was a good player with a high floor. They didn't think he had the ceiling that he has, right? Like, and that happens to a lot of guys. Look, when Jaylen Brown got drafted, after the booing stopped, when people took a look at his game, they thought he'd be a 3-and-D guy, right? Which are valuable, but they're not all pro. They're not max players. And every year, Jalen did more and more and broke out of that. Oh, he'll just be a 3-and-D guy. So Jalen's ceiling went way up. And I think at the end of the day, it was Derek White's ceiling that they misread.
His savvy and his court smarts,
Yep.
and he's in the right place. That guard duo of him and Holiday, that's a really basketball IQ backcourt there.
Mm-hmm.
They really know what they're doing, and that I think helps contribute to the fourth quarter. Turnaround from the last couple of years where you were scared to death with a 20-point lead with 2 minutes to go.
Yeah, well, when we acquired White, they were saying he wasn't a good shooter. I don't know who was saying that.
Well, yeah, they didn't say that he was cold. Remember when he came here, he was in like a shooting slump.
Hmm.
It wasn't so much he had a reputation as a bad shooter. He just came here and he was cold like the first 2-3 weeks.
Right, but he wasn't as good of a shooter. I mean, he's just improved. He was a young player who continued to improve and burst through the ceiling that people had for him. And the best news is he's egoless, so far as I can tell. Like, he doesn't care if he gets 15 shots or 5 shots if they win the game.
Right, yeah.
So I don't foresee Wick not stepping up, because Wick Grossbeck, the owner of the Celtics, has stepped up. He's going to lock up White and Holiday long term, right? I mean,
I don't know about Holiday. Holiday's pretty long in the tooth.
No, I think they have a deal already with Holiday, Joe. They've already committed to each other, I think. Maybe not a deal, but they both said we'll get a deal done.
Yeah, I don't see
these guys at whatever the last year was.
Yeah. And look, the salary cap would allow you to extend Holiday, extend White for this year and probably one other year with all those guys. And then almost certainly somebody has to go. And it could be any of them. It's not going to be Tatum, but it could be Brown, it could be White, it could be Holiday, it could be KP. Not at this year, but the end of next year. Because at that point in time, the punishment for being into the apron is it's too great to absorb.
Yeah. And that's a great segue, Russell and Joe, to the next subject. I'm not going to say the Celtics are a better team without Jaylen Brown. I'm not saying that, and I don't want you to have a conniption. But if you took Jaylen Brown out, could you win a championship as opposed to taking out Derek White? Of course, Tatum is at another level, or right now, if for Singers or a Holiday. If you had to take one of these guys out, would Jaylen Brown be the guy?
Only because of the contract. I mean, look, Jaylen Brown's a better player than Derek White. Full stop. Like, I don't. If you take Jaylen Brown out, you're a worse team than you are if you take Derek White out. At least I believe so. But when you put the contract into it.
And as far as winning the game, or statistically,
look, here's look, I've got some issues with Jaylen Brown's game, but like this, we always want, like, who's going to be the target, right? So Marcus is gone, and we're going to have someone be the target. Brown's a little consistent, but here are his points this year: 27, 36, 16, 23, 26, 11, 28, 29, 22. He's playing at a very high level this year. He's had 2 crappy games.
But I think, look, I mean, it's an eyesight thing. I mean, he turns the ball over an incredible amount of time.
He hasn't been this year, at least.
His assist turnover ratio is not good. It's not, and it's the one thing that drives us crazy. He made All NBA last year. Derek White made All Defensive NBA, but Jaylen Brown is a really, 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 really good NBA player.
No, I'm not saying that, but does he make the players on
around him better?
That's not his role. His role on the team, and this is what I like. His role on the team is to score in transition and to get hard buckets, right? His role is not to set everyone else up and make everyone else. That's just not the role he plays. So no, he's not the kind of guy who makes everyone better. He's developing something with KP, but like, you can't have everyone on the team doing things to make everyone else a better player. He's an end point in the offense. he gets the ball, he's probably going to shoot it.
But Joe,
But he gets it when the offense is stagnated and everyone's standing around, and he's got to go go up against 2-3 guys. That's what contributes to the turnover. Like
Right.
Russ said, he's assigned to get that hard basket when no one else is moving. He's got to go through 2 or 3 people to get there.
Yep.
Well, they got to, again, this Jaylen Brown dribbling thing, his handle is so bad, and it has cost us championships.
Well, no, hang on. I actually don't agree with that. Yeah. Scotty, he was the best player in the finals against Golden State. Tatum did not play up to par. No, Jaylen Brown did not cost us that world championship.
Okay.
Right? He didn't.
He cost us the playoff series against Miami.
I don't know. Maybe not. Like, he didn't, like, there are a lot of people who didn't play good in that series, right? It wasn't, in game 2, he clamped down on James Harden, and Harden couldn't do anything. Remember?
I mean, do you feel
he went from 50 points to like 16 points?
Yeah, got nothing. So, like, it's fine. Yeah, was he a big part of, like, he did not play well against Miami. Totally, I agree with that. But, like, this thing about Jason Tatum, if you're going to blame one person for the Golden State loss, you're going to blame Jason Tatum because he sucked.
Oh, no, he did sick, but I think he was a combination of fatigue and
why wouldn't Jaylen Brown be fatigued and whatever? Like, we got to hold each of them to the same kind of standard because they both make that kind of money.
No, I know, but I mean, I feel like Jason Tatum now has just reached.
He has. He totally
was
has.
Always that guy.
But Brown, now he really has gotten it.
Brown's turnovers drive me crazy. Brown should not be playmaking. He should not be handling the ball in high pressure situations. But, like, that's not why he's what he is in the NBA. And they have to just work the offense around the fact that they don't need him to do that anymore because they have Tatum, Holiday, and White.
Holiday addition has really helped keep him out of that situation.
Do you guys like it all? I don't like Jason Tatum running the point or bringing the ball up at all. And when when you have these,
but he likes it. That's why the coach lets him do it.
But hang on, he's also become a really good passer. Like, the hardest pass to make in half court basketball. It's a pass from above the break on the 3-point line in a diagonal pass to somebody in the corner, and he makes that once a game now. That is the hardest pass in basketball.
No, I know. I'm not saying he's a bad passer, Russ. I'm just saying that I prefer, again, because there's an expenditure of energy. It puts him out of position. I don't like him taking the ball up.
Yeah. I would rather have him play off the ball, but I'm not horrified by him playing on the ball because he's become a much better on the ball player. I don't want Jaylen Brown carrying the ball over half court in a slow half court offense. I totally agree with you. It's useless when he does that.
Okay, Joseph, other than injury, what stops the Boston Celtics from winning a championship?
Not much that I can see, but it will be injury. They're going to get their share of injuries, and hopefully it's not devastating. I think they could survive. They played last night without Porzingis and Brown. They could if White goes down or Holiday goes down for a short period of time, they'll be fine. Al goes down, they'll be fine. They could lose any one of these guys or even 2 of these guys in the regular season, and they're fine. They'll get to the playoffs. But when it comes to the playoffs, they're going to need 5 of the 6 to be healthy.
You got that?
Yeah, look, there's 2 things. One is depth, which means a couple of these guys have to hit on the bench. The other is Nikola Jokic. Like, he's the best player in the NBA. And if you go up against a fully healthy Nuggets in the finals, you could lose that. And you could play very good basketball in that series.
Look, I just can't wait for them to play in the regular season, those 2 teams.
Who do you think's going to take Jokic? Holiday?
I don't know. Doesn't matter.
I mean, because he'll beat you 3-4 different ways. I mean, you cover him 2 or 3 different ways, and he'll still beat you another way.
I mean, nobody can take him. No, I mean, it's a matter of whether you can stop Murray and some of the and
Yep.
Gordon and guys like that.
Yeah.
He's going to get his. He's going to, and it's whether you can. He's going to get his 35 and 10 plus assists. That's what he does. The guy is an incredible player.
Murray gets 10, 12 points a game purely out of his beautiful assists.
We're in the greatest time in the NBA talent wise, I believe.
I think
The
so.
international guys, oh yeah.
Jokic, Embiid is fantastic. Like, I know he's on the Sixers, but that guy's so good and he's so fun. Like, if Joel Embiid was on the Celtics, we would freaking love Joel Embiid.
Worship him.
Worship.
Look at all the big guys. Jokic, foreign player. Embiid,
Giannis.
foreign player.
Right.
Giannis, foreign player. They're coming from all over the world. Like the cream of the athletic crop now.
KD's having a good year. And you go down the line, like these guys, LeBron, like the other night, scored 30. He's like 38 years old.
38 years old.
I mean, the guy's a phenomenon. It's amazing.
Well, Anthony Edwards is incredible player.
Amazing.
I mean,
yeah.
But
He
no,
only had
I don't
11
hate
points
Embiid.
last night.
No, I don't hate Embiid. I don't want to make that. I want to make that clear. I mean, I appreciate that guy. I just hate how good he is. The thing that amazes me most is what an incredible free throw shooter he is.
Yeah.
And what a soft touch he has for as big a guy as that. I mean, if obviously Shaquille was an incredible player, but you've put Embiid back in the day with Shaquille. Oh, he would have dominated like
amazing.
Guy would have been Will Chamberlain. See, been 60 points.
Yep.
I mean, you just can't stop these guys physically.
No.
Look, the NBA is really fun to watch every night, and it looks like anytime there's the Celtics are playing some team, there's some worthy athlete on the other team to watch just because of that. Would you agree?
Yeah, every night there's an NBA game. I have League Pass. Every night there's an NBA game that I want to watch, and I don't watch all of it. I won't watch a game until 1 a.m. But I watched half of that late game last night with the Lakers. I think it was Lakers Nuggets or something, and
Lakers Suns, wasn't it?
Lakers Suns, yeah. And there's every night there's a game on in the NBA. I'm glad to watch.
Yeah, it's.
Oh, the other night they had Wemby versus Chet Holmgren.
Yep.
Big names.
Like tonight, it's a crappy Thursday night. There are 2 games, and there's OKC versus Golden State.
With the Draymond Green controversy.
Right. And plus SGA and, obviously the Golden State. Like, I'd be glad to watch an hour of that game.
Yeah.
Even Orlando, you got that Paolo Banchero. You love watching him. He's an animal.
Yep.
I know. It's except for the Wizards. The Wizards.
I guess.
Yes.
Yeah.
Terrible.
I bet against them. I took the Knicks in the over because the Wizards just stink.
And they paid Jordan Poole like $30+ million for 4 years.
Well, they didn't. They did. The Golden State did, and then they traded for that contract. So
what a stiff.
How dumb can you be?
Oh my God. He's like minus every game. All right, boys, we got to go to I'm switching it up today. We're going to the Boston Red Sox. It's a fresh new start. Okay, we had the whole Rule 5 list. And he keeps off the guy that we were on this show during the summer. I'm like, oh man, this Strohan, this guy could be it. This could be the lefty that we want. And he doesn't even put him on the 40-man roster, keeping like stiffs that we don't even know their names.
So are you already out on Breslow?
Yeah.
Well, I'm like, why the most simple administrative things do they screw up? You can if you kept him on the 40-man roster, guys, you could trade him later on. You can always add a nice young piece to a trade. But why are you keeping like that guy Weiss? These guys that Heim picked up at the end of the season just to get through the season. He's keeping them on the roster and dropping a guy like this.
Yeah, I just don't know enough about it, other than the fact that he didn't play well. I mean, he didn't pitch well. Like his performance.
AAA.
What's that?
In AAA, but he was really good in AA.
Yeah, but I don't know. So Yeah, I wish they would be a little bit more consistent on, obviously, in their Rule 5s, but
Well,
I'm not
this
going
is the
to lose too much
problem,
sleep.
guys. This is the problem. The same, the same people that were whispering in Heim's ear, still whispering, and now whispering in Breslow's ear.
Oh
yeah,
boy,
the
Joe.
same administration is still there for the most part.
Oh boy, Joe. Scotty's already gone cold on Craig Breslow, and he
I
hasn't
know.
gotten out of the starting
Hasn't
gate.
even made his first move
My
yet.
God, he doesn't even he's just he's in his tracksuit warming up, and Scotty's already out on him because of Shane Rohan.
He's
I may not get
lurking
a
around
selfie.
Fenway Park every
Scotty-
morning to ambush
Scotty's
him.
gonna go boo. Scotty's gonna go boo Breslow at the Winterfest out in Springfield.
Yeah, right. Yeah. No, I see him on the street. I'm gonna do no selfie for you. No selfie for you. I'm not doing it. No, I mean, again, it seems
But,
like the Red Sox management.
he's not doing that. Their evaluators have determined he's the one to leave off. The general manager doesn't go scout every single game of every player in the entire organization. He has to listen to what people have for their evaluations of these guys.
Yeah, look, I listened to a lot
And
of stuff.
if you write into him, I'm sure he'll look at your evaluation.
Look, he has said that he's going to fire some of these guys. He said that so I want to see what happens here. He brought in his binky, Andrew Bailey.
Wow. Again, Scotty just bad mouthing and smirching Craig Breslow left and
He's
right.
all over him.
Wow.
What?
Damn.
No, didn't he just bring in his binky? Right?
I don't
Haley's
know.
been the pitching coach for the Giants for like 5 or 6 years.
I just want to mention when we acquired him, he stunk for the Red Sox. He was terrible, if you
But
remember.
that doesn't mean he's a bad pitching coach.
No, I know, but that was his. He brought in. Look, did Cora?
Joe Mazzulla wasn't a very good basketball player.
Joe, I hear Daniel Nava's going to be the first base coach.
Third base to replace Feeblis, who already got a job.
Look, I'm telling you something, guys. I'm going to say it right here, a hot take or a cold take. I don't know if Alex Cora makes it to spring training. I'm serious.
He's out on Breslow, and Cora doesn't make it to spring training.
No, I don't. What?
I thought you were going to say to the trade deadline, and I might have agreed with you on that.
No, you watch
spring training.
Wait, I have a beat on the Red Sox. It's not just because I'm at Fenway Park every day. I have a sense of the Red Sox. Right. You have to give me that.
Hey, you may be right someday about Jason Varitek. I may be 75 years old, and Jason.
We've been waiting for 10 years on that one.
The third managing job Jason Varitek has in Major League Baseball. He'll be coming over from the Texas Rangers, and Scotty will be like, I told you, I predicted this.
No, well, look, he's evaluating right now. What do you think? You think Alex Cora had wanted Andrew Bailey as his pitching coach? That was Craig Breslow's move.
Yeah,
sure. So look, I don't think
that's his job to do that.
Well, I don't. Is it really? I mean,
not the coach's job.
You would, the thing to do would be obviously Cora and the GM agree on it. So, Scotty, your point is is he already shoving stuff down? I don't think he's firing Cora. Could I imagine Cora walking out? Yeah, but didn't they play together? They seem to be somewhat friendly. So
yeah, they played on the same team. And by the way, it was management that fired Bush, right?
I have no idea. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, again, I think as Craig Breslow continues in this role, that people are going to be getting their pink slips. I think he's in the evaluation mode. I think he's talking to a lot of people, but he's bringing in his little binkies. That's you watch. I'm telling you something. I think it's 50-50 the Cora's up.
I bet you Theo's the one fingering the guys that got to go.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, I mean, okay. Now, we've heard so many rumors. If it's money and that's all it is, you have to go get the Japanese pitcher. I don't even care how much they spend.
Yamamoto, yeah.
I heard today Yamamoto's agent very upset with the Yankees bad-mouthing Giancarlo Stanton, okay, who he also is the agent for. And he says, well, you're going to talk like that about my guys. I'll talk to my other guys about not going to the Yankees.
That's what I want to hear.
Brian
Because now
Cashman,
we just got to get rid of the Mets.
Brian Cashman's on the rag like no other. So you know the
He's
comment
been
he
talking
said about
to
Stan,
loose
right?
lips.
So you heard about the comment, right? What he said about Stanton?
Yeah.
Joe, did you hear about it?
Yes, I did. I read about it.
That really, wow. That was
It was
really
true,
odd.
though. You just don't say those things.
But that's really not even Cashman's personality. I mean, he's the pinstripes. He keeps it pretty close to the vest, right?
Yeah.
But
you
I don't know what's going on over there. That whole thing seems kind of over at this point in time. The Yankees, they need a regime change, right? Like
they've been paying that Stanton a lot of money for a lot of nothing for a long time now.
Yeah, because they're not
athletic. They got a ways to go on it too.
They're not athletic. The Yankees are a really non-athletic team. They're a softball team.
Oh, they're a double play waiting to happen every time they get on base.
Yeah, I mean it's great to see. Again, that's our opportunity. Feels like Tampa's not the same team. They kind of burnt themselves out early in the season. I think if the Red Sox play it right, I think it can be. And Toronto just seems to be. I don't even know what Toronto is. I feel like it could be the Orioles and the Red Sox if we got our crap together.
Yeah, we get two starting pitchers and signed Shohei Ohtani or another, for sure. We're not that far away, but they have to actually spend the money.
Yeah. And the Orioles aren't going to spend the money, and their pitching is going to be crummy the next year, probably. They still got some nice players, that catcher especially, but I don't think that the Orioles are built to be a contender for a long time.
Okay, rumors have it, and God bless him, thank him for his service. But if Erod comes back here, I'd be like, well, what are we doing? What are we doing? I will rip Breslow a new one if he re-signs at a higher rate than they could have had him.
Well, they should have paid him back when he left.
Yeah, of course
they would have been fine.
$16 million, and he had just pitched fantastic in the playoffs. What are they looking for?
Yeah, I don't know. I just want two really good starting pitchers. That's all. Like, and if he was the second starter they ended up with, would I be furious? No, right? But if it was I guess Scotty, if it was Yamamoto and Erod, would you be happy?
Yeah, because I think that he's
right.
That's a big name. That's a potential number one starter. I'll take that. If that's why you had to save your money and go someone where the Erod because you had to go out for this. Yes.
Yeah. Right.
Would you guys be happy? Montgomery, Nola?
No.
Joe,
I want Snell or Yamamoto as the top guy.
Yeah, Montgomery feels like a third starter.
He's the third starter. If he was the second,
if you're going to get three for me, I'll take him.
Or even two. If he was the second, I'd be fine. But it's got to be like Snell, Yamamoto. That's kind of it. Like I don't really want to hear about anybody else as the number one.
No, I think either Houck or Whitlock go, or both of them. I think they may move on from both of them because there's really nothing. They don't even know what to do with him.
Well, I know what to do with Whitlock. You make him a 2-inning lockdown reliever. You get your starter to go 6. You stick Whitlock in the game for inning or 2, and you're going to win a lot of games that way.
Russ,
anytime the starter only goes 5, you put in Whitlock for the 6th and the 7th. That gets you to what's Martin for the 8th and
right.
Well, I thought Whitlock pitched very poorly the whole season. I mean, he has an over 5.
They were screwed around. They started him as a starter. He got injured again. Just say to this kid, you're a reliever. You're never going to have to pitch more than 2 innings ever.
And there's no reason to keep Houck. I mean, Houck and Verdugo, so. It just feels like.
I think Houck and Whitlock. You have to keep. I wouldn't keep both of them, and I would choose Houck over.
You got to keep one.
Yeah.
And do you think that Craig Breslow knows enough about the Boston Red Sox to start making moves?
Oh, that's why he's going to depend on the people under him to do a
Correct.
lot of the
You know, as
evaluation.
far as trades, again, this is a guy who's really just strictly a
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. We just lived through a regime that couldn't analyze the market. I'd rather have some guy come in, can analyze the market, and it turns to his, his team and says, "All right, I think this guy's worth 2 good prospects. You tell me who the prospects are that we should deal." I'd rather have that than the reverse, than a guy who knows his prospects but can't read the market.
All right, we'll start with Joe. Give me one surprise move with the current personnel who's going out the door.
Surprise move. You wouldn't be surprised of anyone getting moved.
Well, give me one. Give me one name that we're not thinking about who could get traded.
Oh, geez. I'm thinking every one of them could be traded, except Devers would be the only one that management would say no on. I'd love to see the Japanese guy. If you get Yamamoto or Otani, I'd see Yoshida go out the door.
No, if you sign those guys,
I got one. He's gonna dump Chris Sale. He's gonna pay someone to take Chris Sale because he's not gonna
eat the last year of the contract.
He's not gonna want to deal with all the Chris Sale
bullshit.
And the noise that gets created in the unrequited hopes that Chris Sale puts out there every year. If I were him, I'd be like, I got to get rid of this guy because it's just a distraction.
Yeah, absolutely. Adrian, can you get that? Been best all this time. Yeah. All right. So I think the guy who's going to possibly go is Duran. I don't want him to go, but I think that they have. I think Duran and Verdugo could both go. Because I think Duran's probably at his highest point as far as value that you're probably going to ever get.
I think he's going to be improved next year. I think he maybe be able to keep up this pace he started about halfway through the year, before his injury.
Well, honestly, this isn't even my typical Duran hate, but the guy's not that reliable, fellas, whether it's physical.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. No.
If he's got some value out there and you can get something for him, move on, because I don't think you can count on this guy for 140 games a year.
Yeah, I agree. He's fragile.
And he's the kind of guy like Joe, you always talk about the Kansas Cities of the world would love guys like that.
Young, still under their control. And then, and they'll give up 2 guys that are going to be done with the.
No, pitchers. All we want is pitchers in there. Like Russ, all you wanted was offensive linemen for the Patriots. I just want guys who throw the ball.
We're going to need some position players too,
No, I know, but I'm telling you something.
We desperately need a second baseman or put Story back to second and get a shortstop. We need someone in that middle infield to go with the pitchers. Well, you can have the best pitchers, and if they're going to commit 4 errors a game, it's not. The pitch is going to suck.
Look, you're either going to trade Nick York, guys. Would you agree, like Russell? Either trade Nick York in the offseason, or I think you try to give him the chance to be the second baseman in 20.
They should have traded him 2 years ago.
He feels like the guy who could go, Scotty. I know, we like the guy, but he does feel like the guy who could go.
He's the kind of guy that Heim held on to when he should have traded him.
Yeah.
No, his value is back up. I mean, the kid.
It's up. Yeah. No, I think you could get something for him, and I think in the end, if you want to rebuild this team, you got to have to trade some prospects, and he's the kind of prospect you deal. Yeah. Or to your point, you got to give him a shot to win it, right? Because I don't want him in AAA for 150 games next year. What's the point of that?
No point.
It doesn't look like you'll be able to hit on the major league level.
Well, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, he had like 15 home runs in AA. I mean, which is pretty good. That's not. Those aren't big numbers. Those are big numbers for AA. Just want to mention about Worcester. Worcester's for sale. I don't know if you guys we didn't mention.
Yeah, Larry Lucchino does.
We're going to put together a consortium.
Yeah.
$70 million sounds like I don't even know. Do you get the stadium? I don't think you get the stadium. for 70
Probably
million.
don't.
Because I
Yeah.
think the stadium cost them 240.
Yeah.
And the city must have built that thing.
Yeah.
The city had a big hand in it, and the state too.
No, I know, but clearly you don't get the stadium. I don't know where they're talking about $70 million. I don't know how that.
What is it, Polar Park?
Yeah. You guys, have you guys been there yet?
I've been. I want to go next year. I'm gonna
Yeah, we
make that.
need to do a Grandstanders road trip to
Yeah,
Worcester. That'd be fun,
that's a
right?
good idea.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna go to the Patriots. We have to.
We have to.
Look, and I say this with all seriousness. I think the game next week, not this week, this is the bye. Next week is the most important game the Patriots have played since the Mac Jones playoff game that they got wiped out by the Bills.
Oh, or since the game they played against the Colts to determine that they got Drew Bledsoe instead of Ryan Leaf.
Why do you think? Because Scotty, I mean, where I am in this is, I think Belichick is gone. I think everyone knows Belichick is gone. I don't think he's gone during the year, but I heard Dan Orlovsky say he'd heard that, you know, there's sort of a deal already done, and I don't think anything matters the rest of this year. I think the decision's been made.
No, I'm saying as far as losing, if we lose this game.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, I 100% agree with you on that.
Because
yeah.
I'm telling you something. First of all, you lose this game.
Yeah.
Then the Giants will never jump ahead of you in the draft. Okay.
And they need a quarterback too.
And also your strength of schedule will drop considerably because the Giants suck, because you want them to be worse. And then now that Denver's playing real well, because Denver looked like Denver and the Giants looked like a potential wins. Now that Denver's playing well, you shouldn't lose the rest of the games after the Giants.
Well, Chicago is still out there.
No, they're not playing. No. Chicago's. Carolina.
Well, Chicago's in last place, aren't they?
No, Carolina. Chicago gets Carolina's pick.
Oh, that's okay.
So right now we get the third pick in the draft. If it ended right now, you lose to the Giants are real close in fourth. You lose to the Giants. I'm telling you, at the very least, they'll get the second.
Yeah, the wheels could be completely off because the Chargers, that'll be a close, Chargers aren't good, but they're better than us. The Steelers they'll beat us, the Chiefs, the Broncos, the Bills, who knows about the Jets. So yeah, you could be looking at a 2-win season if you lose to the Giants. Yep.
And that would get you to number 2.
Look, if they
But
get
potentially number 1.
They get to number 3 and you can't get the top 2 quarterbacks, do you get Marvin Harrison?
He's supposed to be a generational player.
I actually think, like, maybe you can make an argument for it. The other is you trade up to 2. Yeah. Carolina doesn't need a quarterback.
Right. Yeah.
And they really could use Marvin Harrison Jr.
Right. So,
right.
I think you trade up. I think if you really believe that Drake May or Caleb Williams is the guy, you got to move up a spot. That's just stupid. You are never going to be up there that high again.
Who gives us a better opportunity to lose moving forward, Zappe or Mac?
I think they basically both.
Oh yeah, pick your poison.
Sufficiently good.
I mean, they're both.
How about Will Myers?
No, I think that I'd like to see Zappe replace Mac because I think Mac could win you a game by accident. Zappe is horrific. He's not an NFL quarterback.
You're right in the sense. So Chicago has Carolina's pick. They're 1-8. The Giants are 2-8. They could use a quarterback, even though they signed Jones. And Arizona's 2-8. They've got Murray, but probably would also draft a quarterback if they were in the first or second spot. So
Russell, did they sign Jones or just pick up his 5th-year option?
No, they re-signed him, Joe. He's signed to a big fluffy contract.
Oh, geez, it'll be tough to get rid of that.
Well, look, Murray's back. They won the first game that Murray's back. I don't worry about the Cardinals. Cardinals will end up winning about 2 or 3 games with Murray.
I think so,
yeah. It's all about this game because the Giants are horrific and they don't have Jones. They're basically playing a guy who lives 9 miles from the stadium, who lives with his parents. Literally.
And Bill seems to always lose to the teams head coached by his old assistants.
Arizona's schedule is the Texans, who they could beat, the Rams, they could maybe beat, Steelers, 49ers, the Bears, who they could maybe beat, and then the Eagles and see what. So they may have 3 games they could win.
Yeah.
Arizona.
Carolina,
Yeah.
I mean, what do they have? They have a weak
Yeah,
schedule?
Carolina is remember,
They're in a weak division.
Right, it is Carolina, and it goes to Carolina's games are the Cowboys will get smoked, maybe the Titans, the Bucks, the Saints, and the Falcons.
Yeah, those 3.
They have 5 games: the Titans, the Bucks twice, the Saints, and the Falcons that
they can win.
Get back into a win or 2 out of those.
Okay, so will Bob Kraft, because we know these owners do this, will Bob Kraft whisper in Bill's ear, it would be beneficial to us if we didn't win any more games this season?
Yeah, I'm sure it's already been done.
I could see Bill Belichick telling Bob Kraft to go pound sand and mind his own business is basically what probably the response was to that.
Bob says, well, you're not getting another nickel for this team this year. And
I believe that Belichick knows he's gone, wants to be gone, and it's in his best interest to win as many games as possible this year, because that just makes it fewer games he needs to win to beat Shula's record when he goes to the Commanders or the Bears or the Rams.
But are we to think that okay, so the rumors are, yes, Commanders, I've heard Dallas.
The Cowboys are the
But they would have to they'd have to the wheels would have to come off in Dallas, right? Because they're a good team. Like they're a really good team.
But we're assuming that he would be a head coach somewhere else, not just president.
Yeah, he'd go to the Commanders, the Bears, the Chargers, or the Cowboys. And I'd bet on that. I don't know if FanDuel has odds on that, but I would bet on that.
Okay.
They do.
So look, I don't know. Would Belichick just say, that's it, my coaching career is over, and be the president of the Patriots?
No.
You say this record is so important to him that he will.
No, he likes coaching. He wants to be a coach.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to be a president. He doesn't want to be a GM. That's why he's always had GMs and presidents and vice presidents in his organization. He just wants to coach.
I mean, he knows he's not been successful for quite a while. I mean, do you think this coaching thing is still appealing to him at 71?
Yep.
That's what he likes to do, coaching.
That's what he does. I'm totally with Joe. I think his relationship is done with Kraft. They probably can't wait to get rid of each other at this point. He's gonna want total power wherever he goes, and he won't have it here anymore.
I don't know why an organization, maybe the Knicks will sign him. That's what it feels like, right? What's the appeal at this point?
Well, it's he's the best coach in history, and I think a team that like the Commanders or the Bears who just need a change, need a different way of doing things.
Name 3 players in the offense for the Patriots that you would keep in 24. 3.
Ramondre Stevenson, Pop Douglas, and
the right guard.
the right guard. Amanu. Yeah, I'm with Joe.
Is there a 4th?
Yeah. I mean, David Andrews is still a pretty good player. I don't know.
Isn't that pretty pathetic that there isn't too many more that it
now, they've got some serviceable players there too, like one of the tight ends, and take your pick. They're serviceable. The left guard can play. Andrews has probably run out of time. He's getting a little old.
But this is Warren, if he was healthy, I'd have him as a 3rd or 4th receiver. I'd be fine with him as a 3rd or 4th receiver.
Does it feel like they're going to blow up the team?
Yeah, they have the most salary cap space in the NFL, and that's without doing anything, right?
Yeah.
And they're going to have somewhere between the 2nd and 5th pick in the draft.
So they're clearly going to have a coach and a GM moving forward. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Well, they always have. It's just that Belichick would have final say if it came down to a dispute. He always had a director of pro personnel, director of college personnel, a director, a president of operations. It's just that he would make the final call.
I never understood why Pioli was he fired?
No, he went to Kansas City, remember?
Right.
To be the general manager. He was the assistant GM here, and he went to KC to be the general manager, and then they made the trade for the quarterback, and then Kraft kicked Vrabel out of town, remember, and sent him in the same trade.
Well,
because he said that about Patriot Place.
That Nick Caserio looking awful good right now with that CJ Stroud. Yeah. Oh my God.
That was a great pick. He was the best player to come out of that draft.
Oh wow. We need CJ Stroud. It shows you how quickly your franchise.
Well, if you draft 2 or 3 players in the top 10 5 years in a row, you're sure you're going to hit on one sooner or later.
Yeah. Well, we need to change this franchise around. I don't. This is the lowest point in a long time right now when we're talking about.
This goes back to the blooper bowl year of with them and the Colts both having 1 win going into the last game there.
Yeah, this is pathetic. All right, we're going to go to the Bruins. The Bruins, please explain to me, first of all, last year we thought was going to be a so-so year, and they were historic. Now they continue to be in a historic pace, and they changed, more than 50% of the team, basically?
The youngsters are doing well.
How much credit goes to Montgomery?
He's a really good coach. He had a bad playoff series, but he's a really good coach, and they have great goaltending. I mean, that's the thing. They're sending a fresh, great goaltender against every team every night through 82 games.
They've got a top, say, 10 in the league, 2 of them, and like Russ says, fresh, 3 or 4 nights off every night.
Is this team built better for the playoffs than last year's?
I don't think so, but last year was just a lot of bad, weird stuff happened last year, including the late injuries to Bergeron and Lindholm, right? Like they got bad luck, and I don't think Montgomery handled himself very well in the playoffs, but he won't do that again.
Yeah.
Well, you guys were so excited. I don't remember, and I've known you guys a long time now. I don't remember how, on a night-to-night basis, how you guys were so excited about watching Bruins games, what was going on. I don't feel that this year, even though their record is extraordinary.
They're the best record right now because Las Vegas lost last night.
Oh, it's a little early in the season. We've got the Celtics. I'm enjoying watching them, but I'm a little scarred from last year, right? Plus, remember, last year, their plus minus was historic. Like, they were doubling up the second best plus minus team last year. That's how good they were.
Right.
Not this year.
Even again, Russ, even against the Sabres, it felt like, when they won 5-1, it felt like it could be 10-1 if they really tried.
Well, that was nice because they had so many 1-goal games and overtime games in a row. They finally had a game without drama, that they weren't sweating out the last minute of the game.
Now, I'm asking the question, how much go ahead.
We're 3rd in goal differential, right? Last year we were doubled up on number 2. Yeah. And we're 3rd this year. Right?
But my point is we don't have to be that great. No. But we have to be good enough to make the playoffs and then succeed in them. What do we need? What do we need to take this team to be a legit contender for the Cup?
I don't know. I don't think we know yet. I think they're going to have to play another 20, 30 games before you'd really be able to figure that out, right?
Are they a legit contender for the Cup right now? Despite, I know
they are in their conference for sure. I don't see enough of the Western teams, the Avalanche and Vegas, and Vancouver's got the best, is I think tied with the Bruins for the best record. We just don't see those teams, so it's hard to make a determination.
Russell, I mean, what label would you put them on? Just a team that's had a hot start? I mean, are we the Tampa Bay
Oh, I mean,
Rays of
Scotty,
the?
we're 15 games in. I mean, they're already 15, percent through the schedule. That's a big sample size. They'll hit a tough spot, but they're a top 5 team. I guess I would say they're a top
Okay.
5 team in the NHL and could easily win the cup and, or at worst make the finals. But they could also get eliminated in the conference finals. I would be bummed if they got eliminated any earlier than that.
Yeah. But they do look like they could be a good playoff team. You got the goaltending,
Right.
and if you got a healthy decor, your top 6 say are healthy, you'll go a long way in the playoffs if you have a good decor and good goal.
We're big. We're big all around. We're a much bigger team than we were last year. My question is though, again, what is there's got to be some missing piece right now that you would think about that you would need.
All I would know is like what you usually want, but I don't know, how it's gonna play out. But could they use another
Scorer.
wing? Yeah. Could they use an extra defenseman? They don't need a goalie and they don't need like a 4th line guy. They got plenty of like 3rd and 4th line guys. So some sort of top 6 wing, maybe. I don't know, like Todd Bertuzzi, right?
Yeah.
How close are we to the cap?
We're right at it. Not a lot of room.
Right at it.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're talking about hundreds of thousands, not millions.
Oh, all right. See, so they're going to be limited as far as
with a trade. If you trade, one salary for another, you can.
How about a guy like Lizelle? Could he be that missing piece?
Do you want to give up a good prospect like that, though?
No, but I'm saying, could he be the missing piece and come up?
I think it's like I want someone to make the call on whether Nick York is a future starting second baseman or Fabian Lysell is a future 1st or 2nd line right wing. And if he's not, then they should trade him.
Right. Because they've been in the system for quite a while now.
Yeah. And I have a lot more confidence in Sweeney's evaluators now. I think he got rid of all those crumb bums from Chiarelli's regime that made his early draft so terrible. I feel
also
lately his evaluations have been spot on.
All they did was bring in kids from Massachusetts, no matter whether they were good or bad.
Right.
That was the whole thing, right? Every signing was from Massachusetts. I mean, it was like they had to be related.
Yeah, they were all cronies, right?
Tim was doing the scouting.
Imagine if they had drafted well of those few years, right?
That year they had the 3 first rounders there, but that was the first year, and I'm sure it was Chiarelli's scouts that gave him. But DeBrusque is the only thing that came of that.
Yeah, you don't get 3 first rounders ever in sports.
And the 3 were in front of Barzal. Oh, I'd kill to have him on the team.
And wasn't one behind the other? It was one back to back, right?
3 in a row.
3 in a row.
Oh, 3 in a row?
Yes. 3 in a row.
Oh my God. Wow.
And I remember they were trying to trade for the kid Noah Hannafin or Gaudreau. I remember up until the moment that they made the pick, but
DeBrusque, Zaboral, and I forget who the other guy was.
Well, they're just you can't make those mistakes, and that's what the Patriots are right now are paying. Did you guys read that article I sent you? Where was it Barnwell who wrote it?
Yeah, that was fantastic.
Wow, that was a hell of a read, right? That guy
really
did a
was.
lot of work on that.
He did his homework. Yep.
That was pretty depressing to see. Yeah, just for our audience, Bill Barnwell, ESPN wrote an incredible overview, of the Patriots since Brady left, right? On the draft.
What went wrong? And the answer to that question, in short, is a lot. It took a lot for this team to be as sucky as they are now.
That article should get Bill Belichick fired. I'm sure the Krafts have read it. I mean, nobody could have written something evaluating the team and what had happened as far as the draft and player acquisitions.
Well, but going forward, if they hire someone new, they're going to have to be like when they brought Parcells in. They're going to have to spend a buck. It
Clean
can't be the
house.
cheap
But they've
tricks
got
they've been for the
plenty-
last 20
Yeah.
years.
Plenty of money this year.
Yeah,
Like,
but they
very
got to
little on the
spend it
books.
like they did when Parcells
Yeah.
came.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, we're going to see. Again, it's all about money, and the Boston sports fans deserve it because we spend plenty of money to watch
We
our
do.
team. All right, well,
Yes,
that's our
we
show
do.
for tonight, boys. I want to, of course, thank the fellas. Please check us out on our website at thegrandstanders.com and tune again next Thursday night at 7 p.m. for another edition of Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman. Have a great and happy night.